bro.
Oh, that black. It's crazy how that actually the black dude to actually box with Jason, bro. Like
Hmm.
just throwing hands with the nigga, bro. Yo, I okay. That's something that we low key would do though. That's what I like about that mode.
Mm,
Yeah, it was kind of
um,
realistic. Somebody would go up there and try to box that nigga. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, and then when Jason threw the first when he bro, Jason low key one tapped the nigga, bro. When Jason finally hit him, bro, it sent his head flying, bro. I was like, gosh, you know how strong you gotta be. Hey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That wouldn't happen to
There's no
me though.
nightmare
That wouldn't
fuel
happen to me.
worse than being in one of Jigsaw's traps.
I mean,
If he
I would
picked
buy
you for one of his
Jason.
games, what would you do? This is how to beat Jigsaw.
Uh oh.
We start off
Huh?
following a man running from the cops and into an empty
I
warehouse.
saw this
Up on the
movie.
rooftop, he finds a detonator duct taped to a beam. Desperate and cornered, he demands to see a detective Halloran, and if he doesn't come in the next 17 minutes, 5 people are going to die. The detective arrives at the scene with his partner, and obviously they think he means it's 5 hostages strapped to a bomb. But time is running out. He pulls on the switch, and the cops start firing. But something is wrong with this whole situation. Holding a long-range wireless detonator, which typically has a range of 1,000 meters and must have line of sight, which means whatever it's going to trigger is nearby. But there's nothing around them except empty factories, so there's no one here to kill. This is highly suspicious. The detective looks for clues, not realizing he will soon be caught in one of Jigsaw's gruesome traps. With his dying words, he tells the detectives the games have begun, and somewhere in a dark room, a countdown has reached 0, and 4 people wake up. And they realize the only way out is through a door of saw blades, until they hear the voice of a man, and he's speaking directly to them. They must now play a game. All that's required is a blood sacrifice. And with that ominous warning, their chains start pulling them towards the spinning blades. If I were in this room, I'd be absolutely terrified, but they're all wasting time by resisting, because this trap is possible to escape with some quick thinking and strategy. Now, he didn't say it needed to be your blood,
You gotta
so you
let it
might
cut
think to
you.
push
You just
someone
walk
into
up
your
there and
door's
let it cut
blades,
you.
which is super cold-blooded, even for
Let him
me.
talk, let him talk.
But the room is being monitored, and there's no way to evade any potential consequences, so cheating isn't a great option here. One woman has an epiphany. She walks towards the spinning blades, a green light flickers on her helmet, and the blades on her door stop in place. She figured it out quickly. But first, I would definitely be trying to cut the chains with the saw. Only if that fails is it time to think about where to cut yourself. Your limbs have vital arteries and are important for mobility. The others follow their lead and cut themselves as they're dragged to the next room. But the last man is in for a rude awakening, as he's too late to open the door. In the autopsy, 2 medics find a jigsaw-shaped cut in the man's skin, the calling card of the legendary Jigsaw killer, John Kramer, who's been dead for 10 years. The lead doctor pulls out a chip from the man's wound, revealing that there are 4 more people left in his trap. The survivors who made it past the first stage try to figure out what is going on and why they've been chosen, and they realize they've been chosen for past sins. But it's time
Yo,
to
pause
focus
real
on what
quick.
matters.
Yeah,
What y'all doing in the first situation?
bro. I don't care. I'm more
I
likely
would
would
I
have
would have
got.
tried to cut the I would have tried to cut the blades with the saw.
I would have copied what y'all is doing.
Mhm. First, I would wouldn't have worked. Then, like I said, try to like either I probably would have done the same thing they would have done. Try to get my
I'm not
hand
gonna
cut and
lie. When
stuff.
I was watching, yeah, when I was watching the movie, that's the first thing that I thought about. As soon as he said like, "You need blood," you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing
You
I thought about.
they ain't say how much blood, even your own blood.
I just would have copied what y'all is
Okay.
doing.
Go crazy.
I'm not a good at. I'm not good at. I'm dying, bro. I'm
Mhm.
not good. I admit it.
Mhm.
Nigga would have died if
I'm
nobody
dying
else would have
eventually.
died.
Like that first
When
one,
it
I
comes
probably
to
would
Jigsaw,
survive, but
I know I'm gonna die, bro.
eventually, I would embody. I ain't gonna lie.
The
Yeah,
thing about
Okay.
Jigsaw, bro, just I don't have the pain tolerance to deal with that junk, bro.
yeah.
I just let whatever happens happen. I ain't gonna lie.
You want to play a game?
No
This
way.
is a game, and games can be won. You have a critical moment here to plan ahead for what's to come. If you're not checking the environment for tools that could help you, then you're wasting your time. This place is loaded with useful tools. The teeth of the pitchfork could be put through the chains to stop it. You could also use the hoof nipper to break the camera. Suddenly, the winches start pulling them forward. The first instinct is to quickly wrap a chain around a sturdy object, but it likely won't be enough. Your best chance is to cross your own chain around the winch and into a knot, so that as it tightens, it pulls on itself and jams, and the knot wouldn't be able to move through the wheels. One guy spots a tape recorder and grabs it, causing the winches to break off, except this is a setup for the next trap, to be hung from the ceiling. 3 syringes drop down, all marked with numbers. The tape recorder has a message saying a purse snatcher has been poisoned, and only one syringe has the antidote. The others have saline or a deadly acid. Their only clue is a question. What is the value of a life to you? Luckily, the blonde's guilty expression is all the proof they need to know that she's the thief. The problem? She isn't willing to take the shot. Now with that being said, there might be a way to outsmart this. An acid will burn, put someone's skin, or supply blood to test the compounds. If you experience itching, rashes, or skin necrosis, you may be able to eliminate it, allowing you to confirm by the taste of salt that one of the remaining two really is saline solution, revealing the last syringe as the antidote. But relying on others' cooperation is risky, because hesitation or dishonesty will get us killed. In this case, the puzzle could be solved without their confession. The tape gave enough information here. A purse snatcher who doesn't value life. If the lesson he wants to shame you with is that life is worth very little to you, then the lowest number of 3.53 could be guessed correctly as a monetary value, saving everyone from a bad case of the Mondays. Instead, the bearded man stabs all 3 syringes into the blondie, and they're finally set free. They all watch in horror as the acid eats her face to a leaky pulp. The guy in plaid checks the antidote syringe, finding a sequence of numbers inside, and uses them to successfully unlock the next door, which is great. But what about the windows? I would stack the bales of hay to get up and see if I can break free. But sure,
what would y'all do in that
next
situation with the acid jump?
Okay.
Dang, bruh.
One with the chains they're pulling on it originally, I would also try to wrap it around something, only just to fail. And gets pretty lucky with that guy who pulled that thing. I probably would have died to that. Now, with the acid
I'm not
thing,
gonna lie.
I wouldn't think that far. I would just stabbed all 3 of them in her. I ain't gonna lie.
You getting shanked up.
I'm not gonna lie. In this one, I would have panicked, but I really like the idea of jamming the winch with the chains. That's fine. Unless the winch was too strong, then you can't jam it no more.
Bro,
I mean,
Jigsaw
like
don't play, bro.
the idea of the chain would slowly pull you closer towards the thing, but like you said, you could run past the chain and tie it in a knot, which would be kind of difficult since it's on your neck. But eh, you do what you do.
Yeah, no cap.
Know what he said.
They might be safe for now,
Man,
but
Jigsaw
another
do
brutal
not
trap
play,
awaits
bruh.
them through this door. I would take precautions here. We should survey the room before leaving and grab what we can, because it might prove useful and you simply don't know what's next. The last door is mechanized, so jamming the door with this wheelbarrow could keep it open long enough for them to retreat when things go horribly wrong. They don't stop to consider any of this, as the door slams behind them, forcing them inwards to face their next twisted confessional. But I'm such a coward,
It's a
you're gonna
movie,
have to
bro.
drag me out of the first room. The cops find more evidence that Jigsaw is somehow still alive, confirming the voice print of the message was definitely Jigsaw's. They don't know what to make of this, because all signs point towards an impossible Jigsaw resurrection. But if they dug deeper, they could have solved this case right here. Any audio recording since 2005 can be accurately dated using just the background hum.
This
The
made me wanna go
electrical
watch the
frequency
old-
from
the old
our
G
power
Smoke
grids
movie,
have a
bruh.
unique
No,
fluctuation.
no.
Imagine that
This right
frequency
here. No, they sending a fake tape or message or recorded message to anywhere is always going to be risky because nowadays people can track where the tape comes from because every electrical tower, like he's mentioning, has a little signal with it. It will always be playing in your background.
And that's
So
tough.
yeah, okay. So saying any recorded
database.
death threats is an idiot. You're just being an idiot.
They would have been able to confirm which power grid it was recorded in and the date of its recording. The 3 survivors enter another room and find that not only are the windows barred, but they are in the countryside. These traps are personal, so it's time for honesty. The bearded man admits he's cheated on his wives, along with a slew of other crimes. The woman tells them her husband accidentally smothered her baby and she's never forgiven him. Hardly a confession. We also know this woman was a thief, whose greed ended up killing someone. We'll find out that every single one of these people are here because they did some bad shit, and Jigsaw tracked them down for payback, but you still have a chance. Now this room is suspiciously void of traps, but you can guarantee there's one somewhere. But it's not time to break out yet. Find the trap first without setting it off. By cautiously investigating the area, they'd find a great vantage point for the sides here, exposing the trap beneath the floorboards. Then, it's time to find the camera and break it, giving you enough time to avoid the trap and break down the door with the tools inside. But this guy doesn't care much for planning, as he falls through the floorboard and right into the trap. Breaking through the floor with a shovel, they find a tape recorder. He finally grabs it, and they play it back. Pull the lever, and everyone goes free. I would try to get him out by attaching these chains and hooks on the pulley wheels, pulling to reverse the trap and give enough slack to pull his leg out. But This wouldn't work because I'm not on steroids. My very average strength probably won't match the pulley's force. A better method is to find something heavy enough to use as a counterweight to help relieve the tension of the wire. There are tons of heavy objects in this room, and if you can figure out the leverage needed, it might be enough. Suddenly, all the lights go out, except for the one in the silo. Together, they walk inside and find a TV remote hanging on a string. With no other options, they grab it, immediately locking them in. The TV turns on, announcing that this guy must pull the lever to save their lives, but might lose his leg as a result. And in that moment, the silo begins to fill with grain. Okay, let's take another look. This is obviously a trap, so maybe take the doors off the hinges before entering in case you need to bail. But they've made this harder on themselves. Grain entrapment is no joke.
Pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why would you?
What I would admit, I probably will fall into that trap. Wouldn't have been as cautious because, yeah, I probably would fall into that trap, get my legs stuck. No, I'm
Really?
sorry, but yeah. Because so far, what I've seen is everything's working like what I've seen just to change, pulling us into the next trap. I wouldn't think what willingly walking into it would happen. But the next thing is
For me,
I'm
bro,
not sure.
I'm cautious on everything. Like
No,
I
no.
wouldn't even be the one going in there. I'll be the one holding the door. You feel me?
I would have been too
Yeah.
paranoid. I would have been too paranoid to walk to even. I'd probably stay right there and wait for y'all to do something. I'm the type, hey, I'm the
No.
type of guy to
If y'all,
sit back and just
no,
comment. Oh,
no.
I'm trying to tell
If
you,
y'all
like,
both get stuck in there, I'm not pulling that lever, okay?
Trey, you not
'Cause-
escaping though.
but the thing is, like, one, if I pull the lever, I'm definitely gonna lose my leg, and depending on seeing where the thing is caught, probably gonna bleed out. So I'm
Unless one of us
dying.
take our shirts off and tie that junk around, stop the bleeding. Stereo crip.
Yeah, shoot, that might happen. And now, if I was stuck inside the sand thing,
Oh, that's
uh,
just tough, man. Oh yeah, I want. Hold on.
shoot,
What they finna do?
I should.
To be completely submerged. Desperate as it might seem, I would wrap my shoelaces around my hands
Shit, let me say
and
something
leave them
quick.
through holes in the iron.
Right. The right thing to do, like, would be to pull the machine on your leg, right? But like me personally, bro, I would want to do it, but I just wouldn't have the mental, like, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I just couldn't do it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not that I wouldn't want to, I just couldn't do it, bro.
Iron mesh to stay on top of the grain. Also, dispersing weight across the grain makes it harder to get sucked in. It's not a permanent solution, but it buys time for this guy to sack up and pull the lever. Trapped in the grain and unable to move, a pitchfork flies down, inches away from them. This just got a lot more interesting. Saw blades and knives begin raining down, one of them flung right into his shoulder. And they really don't have much to work with here, but every weapon that misses them is an object they can use to protect themselves. The screams of pain overwhelm him with guilt, and he pulls the lever. His leg gets
I would have
sliced,
grabbed the
the
pitchfork
doors burst,
and
and the
used it to
exit
block
swings
the
open,
thing.
leading to the next room. This was one leg short of a miracle.
Wait, he
Meanwhile, in
severed
the
the
lab,
door?
they discover
The
particles
the
of
door.
guy through the window? Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
pig feces and blood under the nails of the victim that matches the DNA of Jigsaw himself. He must be alive. And all this could help them find the others, but they're interrupted with a new arrival. It looks like the purse thief. Her autopsy shows that she has a jigsaw-shaped cut in her tongue, and the assistant gets way too excited about this. And there's a lot more where that came from, as she shows the doctor her hobby room full of jigsaw traps. It's incredibly suspicious, but also kind of kinky. Fashioning a tourniquet with a belt, the woman bandages the guy's leg, while the other survivor struggles to force open a door. Suddenly, the tractor's lights turn on, and inside is a tape recorder meant for him.
Free is our favorite
Oh
word.
no,
Like free samples.
no.
Bro, and look,
Morgan,
bro,
our fee is
Hell
free.
nah.
You don't pay anything unless we
See,
win
look,
your
the only
case.
I'm not. Look,
Injured? Call more.
I wouldn't survive Jigsaw, but I'm dang sure I ain't gonna cap. I think I would survive Jason. I think I'll survive Michael. I'm just too fast, bro. They niggas not catching me up.
and like I would turn into a scout.
I mean,
Okay,
you
he's
niggas
scattered
walking
across the
everywhere,
Hey,
bro.
look,
floor. Is
my
not
stamina would be so high.
Mhm.
an accident.
Ain't no getting
Fear.
tired.
Now you
Bro,
have to play the
what?
game.
It's
Like,
no
when you're
tired.
scared for your life, stamina don't exist, bro.
It's definitely it
Bro,
really
fear
don't.
gives you infinite stamina, bro.
Yo, that's why I don't get the Friday 13 games, bro. Cause ain't no way you gassing out walking. Nigga,
No, so my one thing with the Friday 13 game, you can't leave unless you call the police or drive out of there. Man, I would have been running.
Hey, look, you remember what Boondog's granddad said, bro? Talk about some drive me.
Mhm.
You better walk with Nike size shoes I bought you. Better just do
Like,
it.
like,
But you
like
don't have
that whole you have to get a car to leave or wait
I
for the
hate that.
police to come to leave. No, I would have been running out the exit, bro.
Nigga,
Running.
I would have just kept running. It's no time for me to stop, bro.
to
Hey,
walk
real
into
quick
its
though. Hey,
trap
real
if you can
quick
help
though.
it.
When you walk into this room, right, seeing all that hay and junk on the ground, you wouldn't be suspicious, bro.
Oh, I would definitely be
Oh, I
suspicious
would
now.
definitely, yeah. I
Yeah,
would. I
All that
honestly,
shit
I
on the
told y'all,
ground.
niggas, I would walk in the room
and
first. Yeah.
after the last trap, what was it? Obviously some booby traps now set up. So I would use a shovel or whatever thing I had to like mark out or like push away anything that I'm stepping on.
And
hmm I would definitely pushed away all that hay before
I'm
I got
trying to. When
asked.
I tell y'all it gets lit,
Imagine
I'm a laid
somebody
back
with
guy.
500. Imagine somebody who had an IQ of like 500 on some shit, like just trying to do this shit.
Bro, I'm
It's
sticking
some
with that
crazy
nigga.
high IQ. Like he had crazy high IQ, and you just see him like casually beating every single level with no problem. And then Jigsaw like,
Kills that nigga. He say he takes that nigga out. Tell myself, if you don't kill him, you won't survive. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, cuz
"You too
you
good, yo."
played your part, bro. You played your part, bro. You got me this part, bro. I'm not.
Environmental awareness saves lives. So maybe next time before you get caught,
This nigga,
investigate the giant trap in the
dude.
middle of the floor first. The recorder continues. As
Oh
we
yeah,
find
ain't
out that
nobody
years ago,
uncovered
he
that.
sold a faulty motorbike to Jigsaw's nephew, who died minutes after buying it. If he doesn't pull the handbrake at the bottom to stop the swirling blades, he'll be turned into human sashimi. Now once you're lowered in, you don't have a chance. So lucky for him, the gears of this trap are exposed. This can be jammed by putting a strong metal object between the gears or the wheel spokes. The woman tries this and it works, but not long after, the force pulls through the obstruction. Okay, this thing is freaking strong, but there was something they could have done even before all of this. She could have helped him swing as soon as he was off the ground, increasing his angular momentum, which would give him several chances to reach the bike and pull himself onto it. I mean, look how close he is already. It wouldn't take
Wait,
much,
well, just grab
but
that
that's only
bitch.
half the battle. There's no kill switch, and the only break is through the trap. If the engine's already running, disconnecting the battery won't cut it off. Now, I'm not a motorcycle mechanic, so this one is tricky, but maybe this key in the ignition will help. It's worth a shot, but time runs out for him, resulting in
nigga,
another
this
brutal
nigga.
There's no
death.
way to
The woman is able to force open a doorway and make it to the other side, but she sees a man in a pig mask and gets knocked out. The next day, the suspect has gone missing from the hospital, and when John Kramer's casket is opened up, the suspect's body's inside, and Jigsaw is nowhere to be found. The woman wakes up to find both her and the other survivor have been shackled to the wall.
Yo,
By
this nigga
John
don't know where he
Kramer,
at.
the Jigsaw killer himself, who's very much alive, and tells them they've been thinking about all of this backwards. Jigsaw reveals that she lied about her husband smothering the baby. She was the one who killed it and framed her husband for murder. So now he's made this really simple. Loaded with one shell, he leaves them one shotgun placed between them both. The woman realizes someone will have to die, and she won't let it be her.
Wow.
Now they're forgetting two key details here. First, there's always a way out for everyone. And second, he wants to make a moral point. Now this might be with the benefit of hindsight, but when he holds up the shell and says, "Here's the key to freedom," maybe it has a little more meaning, and maybe trying to kill someone is playing right into his hands. They would have seen this in every room, with each tape talking about how they put their lives before others. But how do we beat this? Investigating the room and devices before any rash action is always the right
It's
play,
always the right
but
bit.
they don't. He begs her not
She
to
gonna
kill
shoot
him, but she
herself,
grabs the
right?
gun, lines up the barrel, and pulls the trigger as the gun backfires. He then has a horrifying realization as he sees fragments of keys, color-coded green for the woman's lock and yellow for his. The keys were in the shell. They could have escaped if she hadn't fired the gun. This is what he meant when he said they've got all this backwards. But wait, let's back up, because there may have been another way. This is actually the most forgiving trap so far, because there's no time limit here, and the trap is only a padlock. But let's say there were no keys. I'm immediately grabbing the gun to prevent the other guy from shooting. This railing is attached by 4
that's what I
screws on
would've
each
done.
end. With no time limit, it might be possible to kick it loose to slip the chains out. However, this isn't a great strategy if you only have one leg. I would try to disassemble the gun using the pieces to pry open the padlock, which is possible to do with a pair of wrenches. It would likely be extremely difficult in this case, but all it needs is leverage and sturdy tools. It also might be your only chance to live. The detective learns about the assistant's warehouse, and they bust into her extremely suspicious museum of terror. And behind a fake wall, they find another shredded victim hanging from the ceiling. The doctor gets arrested because he was seen with the assistant at the warehouse the night before, but claims that inside the suspect's body is a bullet that could have only been fired by Halloran's gun. This means the detective shot him to hide his true identity as the Jigsaw killer, and he shows the detective the evidence. Back home, the assistant tells him she knows where Jigsaw is playing his game and decides to check it out.
Are you serious
Magic
right now?
Eraser. It's a game changer.
It's
And
I'm
interesting.
They
annoyed
arrive
with
at the
that.
farm where they
I
find the
paused that
traps,
real
but
quick.
Halloran has
What y'all do in that last situation? Just you and the other guy.
Bro, I'm not. You know my morals. I wouldn't shoot no other guy. I honestly, I probably would have took it.
I'm
Yeah,
taking.
I
I'm
would have took
definitely
it.
taking the
I
gun.
would have took it. I said, whoa,
Like,
hold on, hold on,
yeah,
hold on, hold on.
first thing I would do is take the gun. I wouldn't actually shoot him. I would actually try to shoot the lock off. I would
Yeah,
end
you
up
would have.
getting shot.
I don't think that would have worked
I mean,
though.
I would have definitely got shot. Shot myself. I would have tried to shot the lock, not the one on my dad, but not on my leg, but the one that's connected. Well, like the chain, I would try to shoot the chain off,
I don't
like
care.
put
I'm
it
sure
down on
that
the
that never
floor.
works. That never works.
It
Yeah.
literally never
So
works ever. Like chains like that, bro. Like yeah. You just fucking die. I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie.
Yo, the bullet
Okay,
gonna
I would try.
the bullet gonna hit the reverse on your full
I would
counter.
try to shoot. Here's the thing. I would try to shoot the chain by aiming the gun down on it. The bullet would have flew up in the air, either hit me in the head or barely missing my head, revealing everything.
I'm
Like,
not gonna lie.
okay.
And another thing is, bro, I would have picked up on the fact that like when they said as soon as Jigsaw said that the key to the freedom is in this shell, I would have picked up on the fact that so the person that shot it would be the one that died. I would have been knew that. Yep.
Well,
Freedom.
shoot.
his
So,
phone.
Aisha, what
He
would you
tries to
do?
take him hostage.
I'm taking a gun and I'm saying like we can figure this out, bro. We got no. I mean, I don't see
So
no time limit.
you just gonna talk it out till y'all
I'm
both
I'm I'm
starve
gonna
to
get the
death?
gun first. I'm say, yo, homie, I'm not gonna shoot. It's possible for both of us to escape. None of us gotta die. So we gotta reverse back to what the nigga was talking about. Listening? Okay, I knew you wasn't listening. So like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna start rewinding what the nigga was saying and try to figure out that way. Shoot. Other than that, yeah,
I
pretty
would.
much.
With every single one of these, I'm just straight up assuming I don't know who Jigsaw is. Now, if I do know who Jigsaw is, then I wouldn't probably would have not fall for these traps.
Yeah, Jigsaw. He gives you actually do have a chance to escape it by difficult.
And they're able to break away and split up, and Halloran gets knocked out. He and the doctor wake up with a collar of laser cutters on their necks. This is Jigsaw's final game. Confess to their sins as to why they deserve to die, and they'll be set free. Okay, hold up. I'm not waiting around for a confession here. I can't see my trap, but I can see the other person's and assume mine is identical. To produce enough energy to power these lasers, there must be wiring inside the mechanized arm. It won't hold your weight extended like this. First thing I'm trying to do is grab the collar and use my weight to pull it down, hoping to break the arm and maybe sever the power supply. Halloran activates the doctor's collar and forces him to confess his crime. He was the one that messed up Jigsaw's cancer x-rays, dooming him. But it's not the confession that Jigsaw wants, and the doctor has his neck lasered open, killing him instantly. The detective is next, and his lasers turn on. He confesses a whole laundry list of crimes, but there's something wrong here. The lasers on his collar burned the ceiling above him, while the ones on the doctor's didn't. What is going on? The doctor gets up from the floor and confesses that he is Jigsaw. Everything was staged, and the trap was fake. Years ago, he was chosen for a game, because he really did screw up Jigsaw's x-ray, which led to the cancer being detected too late to treat him. But Jigsaw had mercy at the last minute, and saved him because it was just an accident, letting him become Jigsaw's apprentice. He was the guy in the beginning of the movie who we thought had died in the buzzsaw room. Now, 10 years later, he set things up to trick them that Jigsaw was back, planted fake evidence to frame the detective, he shot the first suspect on the rooftop with a sniper, and faked the tapes with Jigsaw's voice. And no one will know the truth. All because the detective let this guy, the criminal who killed the doctor's wife, go free. The doctor leaves Halloran to his death as a laser cutter splits his head into pieces. Game over. Now this is just the start. There are more convoluted, horrifying Jigsaw traps out there, and we're going to get them all in upcoming videos. But what do you think? How would you beat the death traps of Jigsaw?
I'm not gonna lie.
Let me know
They
in the
did
comment
the
down
black
below.
guy terrible, bro. Go back to that, bro. What they did to the black guy, bro. God,
No,
no, no,
no,
no, no.
no, no, no. At the end.
Yeah, Yeah.
who killed the
we
doctor's
starting
wife.
from the original.
Go
Okay.
to start.
Keep going,
There are
keep going.
more convoluted, horrifying jigsaw traps out there, and we're going to get them all.
Pause,
yeah.
pause, pause.
Ooh,
Why you look like you a slave who misbehaved?
that's
Like,
I'm saying that's all I was about to say, bro.
hey, nah.